let us have some examples of effective stories. Let us discuss the different parameters of this sample story. Now we will discuss the different formats of storytelling in brief. Hello and welcome to part 2 of storytelling to engage young children. But before we start, let us have a quick recap of what we have learned in part 1. Just check it out. Friends, based on the features of storytelling, let us have some examples of effective stories. The sample story we are going to discuss is Ganesha Goes to Kubera's Party.
Once upon a time, Kubera, the lord of riches and wealth, was overpowered by his pride and ego. He decided to show off his wealth among the community of gods. He planned to organize a huge feast and invited a large number of deities and guests. However, he believed that if the Supreme Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati didn't come, the entire feast would be pointless. To invite them, Kubera went to their abode in Kailash. On the other hand, Lord Shiva decided to discipline Kubera since he was well aware of his intentions. Lord Shiva answered to Kubera,
"Dear Kubera, I cannot come to the feast, but my son Ganesha will respect your invitation. He has a massive appetite, so I hope you can satisfy him."
Blinded by his ego, Kubera didn't foresee any hitches in serving Ganesha. He went back to his palace and started preparing for the feast. All the visitors, including Bal Ganesha, arrived on the designated date. Lord Kubera was thrilled to have Ganesha around for dinner. Ganesha was immediately presented with a variety of delicious and unique foods. Ganesha, also known as Lambodar or Big Belly, promptly sat down and started eating, and not surprisingly ate everything that was served. Bal Ganesha was given more food and he continued to eat until he had finished every last morsel that had been prepared. Kubera attempted to get food from other areas while feeling panicked and humiliated, but hungry Ganesha was in no mood to wait. He started eating the utensils, the furniture, and even the palace itself. Horrified Kubera begged him to stop, but Ganesha threatened him by saying,
"If you don't give me food, I will eat you."
Panicked Kubera realized his mistake and he immediately went to Lord Shiva to seek help. He apologized for his pride. In kind and humble gesture, Lord Shiva handed him a handful of roasted rice, which finally satisfied the hunger of little Ganesha.
Now let us discuss the different parameters of this sample story. This story is based on a mythological tale. The underlying theme of this story is love. You can begin the story by describing Kubera's pride and his rich belongings. You can introduce the additional characters Lord Shiva and Ganesha. Be sure to describe their main traits, something like Lord Shiva's intelligence and Ganesha's devotion. You can introduce the names of new foods or dishes. You can introduce manners through the use of words like please, sorry, and thank you in your narration of the story. You can end the story by using simple sentences that convey important messages. For example, you must keep your promise, or it is better to be humble and grateful than to be proud. Now we will discuss the different formats of storytelling in brief. The video format is a very popular format for storytelling nowadays. You can use YouTube or other visual media with graphics or animation along with audio narration. Another famous format of storytelling is audiobooks. You can use podcasts, Audible, or other audio softwares where there are no visuals but only the recording of the narrator's voice. And the best format of storytelling from ancient time is face-to-face narration. You can simply narrate a story to your children using words, expressions, gestures, and even puppets or props. This is the best form of storytelling because the power of the story lies in the way it is told by you, the narrator, the storyteller. It also helps a child learn how to identify, understand, and interpret both verbal and non-verbal communication signs. Dear educators, do remember that storytelling is an art that, like everything else, needs practice, excitement, and confidence. The same story can be told in many different ways. You can be innovative with how you tell the story by changing the type of narration or the components of the story, or both. You can enhance the storytelling session through gestures and props to make it more engaging. It is not about how good the content of the story is. It is about how well you, the storyteller, can tell it. And finally, oral storytelling is the best form of storytelling for young children. You can improve your oral storytelling ability with regular practice. Hey, the session is not over yet. Just watch this video and make your own story cards for the story of your choice. You can tell the story alone or by showing these cards one by one, or get your children to participate by allowing each child to tell only the part of the story that corresponds to the particular card. See you again in the next session, and until then, bye-bye.